Hello, fashion lovers. Welcome again to another sewing tutorials with Flotify Apparel. So, if this is your first time of seeing any of my tutorials, you're very welcome. Right, so click on your subscribe button. Please do well to subscribe. So, as you can see, I've gone ahead to mark out my center front and my top line, which is set at my waist. So, for my waist, I'm going to mark in my hip line, which is 10, and my waist to my knee is 18, while my waist to my skirt length is about 31, as you can see, right? So that waist to hip varies in sizes. So can use 7, 8, 9, 10, and even 11 depending on your size. So now I'm going to show you how I got that midpoint. Now I divided my pattern paper into two from my starting point, that's my center line, sorry, into two, and that's how I got my midpoint right there. So when I got it, I mark it all the way down. Now what this midpoint did for me was to accommodate my front pattern of my skirt and my back pattern of my skirt, so I don't have to draft on one pattern and the other. So I went ahead on my waist line to mark my waist. Now my waist divided by 4, that's what I marked them. And on my hip line, I divided my hip by 4, and this is what I'm going to be marking there, right? 11. Then on my round hip, you can go ahead and take your round knee measurement, right? But for some cases, you can, your hip measurement divided by 4 minus 1.5 would give you your round knee, and whatsoever you have on your round knee is what you're going to be taking on your skirt length. Now this skirt length is not on a constant K. I just did 31 because okay, I want to do 31. You can do 28, depending on the length of the person. So I'm going to be going ahead to connect this point right here with my pattern master ruler. Now I'm using the curved area for my waist to hip. So you can go ahead and do yours, connect the points together. So this is what it looks like. So I'm going to be flipping it over to connect my hip to my round knee, right? And this is what I'm going to be getting. So I'm going to be going ahead to connect my round knee to my skirt length with a straight rule. You can also use your hip curve for this particular area so that you don't have a sharp look on that round knee. So I'm going to be blending it in when I'm done. So for this particular part, I'm not going to use that, but I'm going to be showing you how to achieve your dart if you want to use a dart. So from that center front, I'm going to be marking my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 4 inches, right? Then under my 4 inches, I'm going to be marking half inch on the left and half inch on the other side. So this is me marking my half inch and half inch on the other side. So for the length of my dart, I'm going to be using 5 inches. So this is me marking my 5 inches, as you can see, and I'm going to be connecting it with my rule to form my first straight line, that leg. And I'm going to connect it from that leg to the other different half inch, that leg. So I connect next that leg to that leg. That is it. So whatever that intake I have on that side, that which is 1 inch, I'm going to be taking it out, like adding it to my waist measurement, as you can see. Then I'm going to be connecting it back to my hip line. So for this particular tutorial, I'm not going to be using a dart, right? So I'm going to be using another eliminating method for that. So that pattern eliminates bulge and reduces angle of the skirt. So for my center front, I came down by 1.5 inch. From that 1.5, I'm going to be covering it right now to meet my hip measurement, right, with my master roll. just the way you see me do. So I'm putting it in to meet with my waist measurement. With this, you don't have to put it that, right? And your skirt will not have this bulge in front of it. So it is very, very, very okay and very nice. You don't need, it's not alarming. So now this is my front skirt pattern. So I'm going to be going over to draft my back pattern, right? So for my back pattern, I'm going to be marking first my zipper allowance. So I'm going to be coming out and marking like 1 inch for my zipper allowance. And this from this zipper allowance I've marked is going to be serving as my center back. So go ahead and mark the inches you're going to be leaving for your zipper allowance. It shouldn't be more than 1 inch or 1.5 or 1 inch is very okay. So go ahead and mark all the way down to your skirt length. So when I was done, and I'm going to go ahead to connect all the lines with my rule, all the points with my rule. So after this, I'm going to be having a straight line. That straight line, like I said, is going to be serving as my center back. And the 1 inch that I came out from is going to be serving as my zipper allowance. Right? I hope you get it clear. So I'm going to be adjusting the pattern so you see what I drafted right there. So yes, this is what it is. So from this my center front right, I'm going to mark in my waist measurement. You can see. And I'm going to be going over to my hip measurement and I mark my hip measurement. So like you can see, my hip measurement is more than the mid point I divided. So I'm still going to go ahead and just mark my hip measurement. Then I'm going ahead to mark my round knee measurement. So every measurement is the same as the front, right? So you're going to be going ahead to mark same as you marked in the front. So whatever you have on your round knee, that's what you're going to be having on your skirt length. This is for fitted skirt. This is for fitted skirt, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead now to connect all my points together with my master pattern ruler. So I'm just going to connect my hip very just like this. So I was done. I'm going to be connecting right to my round knee. Please, you must know how to use your pattern master ruler, your French curves, everything before you use them. So I'm going to use my rule to connect from my round knee to my skirt length. Just so you see me. So like I said, make sure you blend in just where you see me blending in right here. So I went ahead to blend in so I will not have sharp edge, right? So on my back, from that center back, I came down by 1 inch, not 1.5. You know the front was 1.5, so the back will be 1 inch, and I'm going to be connecting back my waist measurement. That's the side seam, right? So this is it. I came down by 1 inch and I connected it back to my waist measurement. So we'll go ahead now and talk about our zipper allowance. Now my zipper allowance, now I'm going to be taking out half an inch for my zipper allowance. But on my hip allowance, I'm going to be taking 1 inch, right? Added 0.5 inches to the half inch zipper allowance. So on my round knee, I'm still going to be taking my half inch zipper allowance. So for this particular skirt pattern, I'm using half inch as my zipper allowance. So the only difference is that my hip is carrying an extra 0.5 inches, making it 1 inch. So every other places, every other measurement are the same. So I'm going to be connecting these lines as you see me do. Now when I get to that my hip, I'm going to be using a curve. Now you know our butt is not straight, there's a curve, and that's why we're having that curve right there. So I'm going to go ahead to flip and connect that hip measurement to my 1/2 inch zipper allowance on my waist. I hope this is simple and very clear. So I'm going to be extending my waistline to my zipper allowance. Now you know that for this particular back skirt pattern, the hip measurement is not excess by 1 inch even after sewing my zipper on my skirt. So I have to subtract that 1/2 inch from my side seam on my hip line. That's what I'm marking out right now. So I went ahead to mark my 1/2 inch, and I'm going to be connecting or blending it in to my waist side seams like this, and I'm going to be blending it in again to my round knee side seams just like this. So now we have a new marked out hip side seam, right? So every other thing is very accurate. So when I'm done sewing my zipper allowance or zipper, it falls back to the same, right? It is this easy, and you can achieve it with this particular pattern. You will not be having sags or bulge on the front part of the skirt. You will not be your zipper will be it will lay flat to your body, right, without any bulge. So this is what the center front looks like, and this is what the center back also looks like. It is very easy to go again. If you find it difficult to understand, please go back again and listen and watch. You're going to get it right. So I'm going to be going ahead to cut my pattern. Don't forget that in this particular pattern we did not add any seam allowance. So you can go ahead, when you're placing it on your pattern or your fabric to cut, you cannot add your seam allowance. So this is me cutting out my back pattern, and I'm going to be showing you what it looks like when I'm done cutting everything. So this particular pattern, I'm going to be using it to cut an A-line skirt that is trending right now. So I'll be dropping the picture at the end of this video so you see our next tutorials. So this is what the back pattern looks like. And so don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. So the next video we'll be seeing is the pattern of the skirt I'm going to be drafting for you in our next tutorials. It's bye bye for now.